You had a song that you were set to release that P told you not to.
Yeah, it was called Fuck Death Row.
You know, and you mentioned that kind of saved your life, though.
It did, because P was smart enough to know that I wasn't ready to go to war. I just was vigilant, and I was like, fuck that, I gotta defend my pride, but my pride would've got me killed.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha. And I really like Snoop Dogg, but this nigga is a lying son of a bitch. As the days go by, I'm severely starting. I don't know if it's because he's getting older, he's being more candid, but he's been saying a lot of shit that's been conflicted with old accounts, right? Like, he never dissed Biggie, but then the niggas known to have been championed the Hit 'Em Up record and dissing Biggie and even recording a diss song, according to one of the Outlaws. I don't know how truthful this is, but I see no reason for Young Noble to like make up shit. But I just caught this nigga, lying ass nigga, in a lie. This nigga goes on some podcast and he was saying that he never recorded an album or a record dissing Death Row. Now, I don't know how the fuck you would do that, considering that Daz is your cousin, Nate Dogg was your homeboy, you was cool with Lady of Rage, Jewel, RBX. I don't know who the fuck you would diss. Like, they were Death Row. But this nigga has a song called Fuck Suge Knight, and even an unreleased album that is on YouTube called Fuck Death Row. I listened to the shit, probably about 10 minutes of it. It's a lying piece of shit. It is to the point where this almost has me to believe he knew possibly that Tupac was gonna get shot. I always found that suspicious that he didn't go to Vegas and he's a Crip, and the nigga that killed Tupac was a Crip. And I know how gangbanging goes. Even though it's different sets, different sects of Crips, them niggas have a network where they know what other Crips is about, who the fuck is who. Now, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say he knew who the fuck Orlando Anderson was, Baby Lane specifically, but they say that he was actually a reputable Crip. So Snoop Dogg, being a celebrity gang member that actually had a body of a rival gang member, I think the nigga name was Waldemarian, that he claimed that his bodyguard shot. Yeah, like, he was plugged into the circus of gangbangers, so he knew like who the fuck did it as soon as it happened. Now, I don't know if he had word that it was gonna happen, and if he did, his black ass should be indicted. But if he, after the murder, he knew who the fuck it was. Word travels and niggas talk. And if you a gang member, you knew some shit as soon as it hit the circuit. So I always found that shit suspicious. But let's say in the world of worlds, he didn't know nothing. This nigga's still a fucking liar. Talking about he didn't diss Death Row. Nigga, you couldn't. Everybody on Death Row was cool with you. Who you gonna diss? Reggie and all them other blood niggas? They was nobodies but enforcers and bodyguards. They weren't technically Death Row. They were security. But he does have a record where he disses Suge Knight, talking about he was on a level 1 with the bitches and the fags. I'm just quoting him. Don't, LGBT community, don't come from me. I found this shit suspicious, and I'm starting to see a bunch of conflicting stories that this nigga keep giving, to the point where he's reminiscent of one of my cousins. Nigga's real cool, laid back, smokes a lot of weed, but he's a lying motherfucker. And any person that's a fucking habitual, pathological liar like this, you gotta investigate. I always found it suspicious that out of all the people from the West Coast 90s era, he was the only person that actually blew up to superstardom, when there were other people with the same caliber of talent and even records and hits. This nigga literally was with Master P from 1997 to about 2000. He was lackluster at best. I think Nate Dogg was like blowing the fuck up. Warren G was still riding on the coattails of 2 hits he had, one being Regulate. So like, I just always felt, even E40 had two albums that were actually like commercial success. I just found it always odd that he, out of everybody on the West Coast, including Too Short, was the only person that like catapulted to super stardom. Now, he does have a personality, and he is a fucking character, but I just found that like he eclipsed everybody, including Ice Cube. I don't even know how the fuck that's possible, and Cube has like 5 platinum records. Maybe it was because they were all in the early to mid 90s. But in any event, it's been my thoughts, ideas, and opinions about this. If you like this episode, subscribe, turn the notifications on, all that fly stuff, share with your friends, and I'm out. No.